name is Sarah Jones. I've been married for 3 years, and I haven't quit my job, so I'm more of a wife in name only. That's because I'm always running around the country for work, and I'm hardly ever at home. My husband, David, understands this about my job and gently says that it's important for women to work too. I was grateful that there was someone in this world who understood and trusted me like that. Put up 6 months ago, I learned that it was all just my assumption. It turned out that David had a mistress. At the time, it turned into a huge fight, and I screamed that I was going to confront that woman. Whether it was a good thing or not, David broke up with her. But after that, I couldn't trust my husband anymore. I was always wondering what he was doing and what he was up to. But I couldn't just stop going on business trips, and that day I was heading to a certain region. I have got some time. What should I do? Keeping his tea around. I noticed a stylish cafe. Oh, what a lovely place. I'll spend some time there. I casually entered and sat down, as I always do. The cafe wasn't too crowded, just a few customers. Wait, among them, a couple holding hands across the table caught my eye. They looked so happy together. But then I realized that the man was David. What? David? When was he here? He's supposed to be at home today. The word cheating popped into my mind. Is he cheating on me again while I'm working? The cafe had music playing at a pleasant volume, and I could hear the conversation because there weren't many customers. I focused only on David and the woman's voices and started recording a video. Then I heard something unbelievable from David. Let's get married. But what about your wife? I'll divorce her. Just when she found out about us 6 months ago, she was furious. That's when I realized it. It's only you, Emily, that I truly love. Really. You're really gonna marry me? Yes, I'll always be with you from now on. He then placed a ring box on the table. What? Don't pop say, Alex. Well, I'm here. I was shocked and saddened at the same time. I stopped recording, canceled my order, and left the cafe. So that's how it was. Everything until now was just to deceive me. I get it now. Be happy then. I whispered to myself as I slipped into an alley. It must have looked strange to see a 30-year-old woman standing there. But I couldn't stop the tears. I felt like an unnecessary person, realizing that everything I thought was love was falling apart. But ever since the affair was revealed 6 months ago, it felt like everything had been crumbling. I was always watching my husband, constantly contacting him even when we were apart. I would get anxious if he didn't reply and even wanted to cancel my business trips. But at that time, David did say he was breaking up with his mistress. I broke up with her. Really? Yeah, it's true. Look, I even deleted her from my contacts. I checked and indeed, the woman's name was gone. I felt relieved, but then it occurred to me that he might have just changed the name and the profile picture. Or perhaps he could have bought another smartphone. After that, I continued to be on business trips. I kept in touch with my husband during that time, but that didn't mean he was alone. No more. Yet, I tried to believe his words when he sent me pictures, claiming he was by himself. He wouldn't cheat again, not ever. It must have been just a momentary lapse. After all, he said he loved me, a career woman. That's why I didn't quit my job and made it this far. I kept telling myself that. But was it all just an act from David? While claiming to have broken up, they hadn't, and their affair continued. Perhaps even worse, they were taking advantage of my business trips to go on romantic getaways. I was devastated by this unbelievable reality. After being treated this way, I wasn't even sure if I still loved him. Over these 6 months, I kept reminding myself that we were married. Divorce isn't something to be taken lightly. That's why I tried so hard to keep our marriage going. Was I the only one thinking this way? How foolish. It was all a one-sided effort. Maybe it's better to end things cleanly for his happiness. And if he loves that woman so much, perhaps it's best for me to step back. A thought crossed my mind. It would be easier for me too, probably. I played back the video I recorded earlier, trying to sort out my feelings. There they were, the woman's happy face and my husband's joyful expression. They're touching hands in the ring box. Let's get married. No matter how many times I heard it, my husband's words sounded the same. He clearly stated he was leaving me and expressed his love to her, holding her hand. And those words, "I'll always be with you from now on," never changed. But although the recorded words remained the same, the more I listened, the more my feelings inside changed. But from wishing them happiness, I began to think, why should I, the one being betrayed, quietly step back? This is absurd. My feelings were turning into unstoppable anger and irritation. Hatred towards my husband was growing. I couldn't just let it end like this. With that thought, I made a phone call. If we were to separate, I'd drag him through hell first. And true to my word, I just secured my ticket to do so. After finishing my work, I returned home the next day. As I laid tired on the sofa, the front door, which no one was supposed to come through, opened. I instinctively sat up, ready for anything, and then my husband hurried in. "Will, welcome back. Carrying such a big bag. Where have you been? Looks like you went on a trip." Thanks. By yesterday, I had already sent that video to my in-laws. His early return must have been due to something they said about the video, and he must have rushed back after finding out I was the one who sent it. But I pretended ignorance. I wanted to see my panicking husband's face. When you contacted me, it was a picture of our home. Why are you carrying such a big bag? Indeed, the picture he sent, as usual, was taken on this living room sofa. Basically, he had just sent an old photo to deceive me. Now that I think about it, I had received similar photos before. He must have taken several to trick me. And I had been reassured by those photos. "Oh, you're back quite early." "Yes, I finished my work early. It usually takes about a week. I was worried about you, so I came back early. Originally, this trip was supposed to be straightforward, but I had planned to visit other places too. If only I hadn't seen that cheating scene. By the way, you look quite upset. Did your parents say something to you?" "Hey, how do you know about that?" "No, that video." "And video? Oh, that one? It's well recorded, isn't it?" "Yes. I just happened to choose that cafe for a break, and there you were. With the mistress you claimed to have left, my parents scolded me. Well, that's to be expected if they have any sense of decency. It's unfair. Sending the video? But I didn't interrupt your proposal, did I? I didn't slap the happy face of your girlfriend. You should be thankful. It was a once-in-a-lifetime proposal, right? I never imagined you'd be proposing in that cafe, especially not in the middle of a romantic getaway with your mistress. Everything's been exposed, hasn't it? Yeah, if that's the case, I should have stayed out longer. Rushing back was a waste. Unbelievably, my husband was defiant and unapologetic. Did he really want to anger me this much? That's the woman you said you broke up with 6 months ago, right? So you didn't break up with her? No, that's correct. Basically, everything was a lie. Seeing you like a demon, glaring at me. I can't forget that face. It made me lose my love for you. So it's my fault, you're saying? If you'd had understood my feelings more, I wouldn't have cheated. But don't you think that requires a conversation? You never expressed your feelings. And now you're blaming me. It's not about blaming. I just wish you had understood me. But you said you liked that I'm a career woman. You wanted me to continue my job. So I did. I didn't expect you to be away on business so much. I felt lonely, so my heart wandered to another woman. That sounds like a child's excuse. Ignoring your own responsibilities. Say whatever you want. So you're going to marry her? Yes, I want to start over with her. So let's get divorced. You're demanding understanding for your feelings, yet you haven't considered mine at all. It's laughable how selfish you are. That if you want. I want to divorce you. You know divorce should come before proposing to someone else. If I don't agree to divorce, your proposal with the ring you prepared will be in vain. Polygamy isn't allowed in Japan, you know. You know I cheated. You're going to divorce me, right? I've already decided to leave. Divorce requires mutual consent. It doesn't matter if only you decide. Or did you delay the divorce in case she didn't accept your proposal? So this marriage is like insurance for you. My husband fell silent after that. A silent moment passed between us with no conclusion reached. But it seemed he was firmly intent on divorce. He's the worst. Was he always this awful? Fine, I'll give you a divorce. But in return, I'm keeping this house. Fine, I'll leave. I stood up, took out the divorce papers I had just received from the office, and started to sign them. Fixing me. I could tell my husband was relieved. Here, sign this. Once you've written it, I'll submit it to the office. You're not going to just take this and not submit it, right? Of course not. I don't want to drag up this ridiculous situation any longer than necessary. So don't worry. True to my word, after my husband left, I went to my parents' house, had them fill in the approval section, and submitted the papers. I never thought the divorce would be finalized so quickly, but I didn't want to be connected to a man like that any longer. After all, I had an important task left, seeking revenge on my husband. About 2 weeks later, my ex-husband. David called me excitedly. I got married today. Man, thank you. As now she's my wife. She's like, I feel bad for you, but this is my happiness. Congratulations, is that so? Congratulations. Yeah, it's like a dream. What about the wedding ceremony? Well, she's quite modest. She said she didn't need a ceremony, just wanted to be my wife as soon as possible. So we just took some photos and that was it. Really? So where are you living now? We're still living separately. Why would you live separately after getting married? I thought you lived together right away. Well, and Dad wanted that too, but she asked me to wait. She wants to clean up her apartment to make it suitable for us as a couple. That's what do you mean? We're gonna live in the apartment she's living in now. It's quite spacious, but it's a mess right now. She wants to tidy it up first. I offered to help, but she wants to decorate the new place by herself. She's really earnest. So where are you staying now? In a weekly apartment. It is everything I need. Have you been to her apartment? You're married, so you must have been there, right? No, that's the thing. She's old-fashioned. She said she couldn't let a man into her room until we were married. It's unbelievable. We got intimate so quickly, but she's so different. But you've been to hotels, right? Well, yeah. We went on trips together. That was natural. And yet she won't let you into her apartment. Etri, and you find that modest? Yeah, she said no to the apartment. Interesting. Do you really know her well? What? Of course, I do. I wouldn't have married her otherwise. Also keeps your people. I mean, do you really know her? What are you talking about? I wouldn't marry someone I didn't know. Did you know her mother is seriously ill? What? She needs care. How do you know that? I looked it up. Why? She took my husband after all. It's natural to investigate. So what's her illness? Requires constant care. But I heard her brother lives with her. Her brother is in prison though. What? No way. Yes, he's a banker. Well, he was a banker. What do you mean? And for the sake of a woman, he embezzled money from the bank. They had the cats to collect it. After all, it's a bank. There's plenty of money there, right? He took as much as he wanted. The amount is about $1.6 million. I heard. He's serving time now, but that money still needs to be repaid, so it's a tough situation. That's his problem, not hers. Did you know she has debts too? Wait, no way. I didn't hear anything about that. She probably couldn't tell you. Come much? $800,000. That must be the money for the house renovation you mentioned, right? And you said that your parents paid for it. Have you never been to her parents' house? Oh. Yeah. Why not? Didn't you go there to introduce yourself for the marriage? I was told that it's not necessary because I was feeling unwell. They said as long as we're happy, that's all that matters. The feeling unwell. It's all about how you say things, huh? Well, you'll see soon enough, but it's pretty much a rundown house. I can't imagine her parents have much money if they live there. And I doubt that house was ever renovated. If it really was, you should find out which contractor did it and file a complaint. So about the debt. Mostly for her own expenses. She seems to be quite the spender. And only wears expensive clothes and jewelry. And she goes to the beauty salon every week. Never misses her nail appointments or spa treatments. That can't be true. Really? The treatments or spa treatments? Didn't she always wear expensive-looking items? Designer bags and all. Didn't you wonder where all that money came from? She must have her own income. Well, think what you want. My husband adamantly refused to believe it, insisting it was all lies. I expected that response. By the way, congratulations on becoming a father of 3 so soon after getting married. What? What are you talking about? She's not even pregnant yet. How can there be 3 kids? Don't worry. Are you sure you're okay not knowing the reality? She already has 3 children, living with her parents. At her parents' place? Yes. Soon she'll probably move in with them. Then you'll quickly become a father of 3. Plus she's pregnant now, so a 4th is on the way within a year. Congratulations. Dad, that's a lie. She would have told me if she was pregnant. But she is pregnant. You should check it. She's been going to the obstetrician regularly. The baby is due in about 7 months. If it's my child, she would tell me. If she hasn't, it means she's not pregnant. Maybe she has a gynecological condition. Your detective must have made a mistake. Maybe she didn't tell you because it's not your child. That's ridiculous. Well, anyway, have your parents said anything since then? Yeah, they called me a fool, asking how I'm going to handle things now. I don't even know what they mean by that. From your parents' perspective, it makes sense. I've been sending them money up until now. I mean, that's the first I've heard of it. Why would you need to send them money? They both work. Your father's retired, and your mother can't work due to her back pain. I've been sending them money, which is why they've been getting by. But now, I won't be sending any more money, so they'll probably struggle. Why didn't you tell me? What's the use in saying anything? Your salary is so small that we were barely getting by. But when they asked for help, I couldn't just turn them down. I knew it would be pointless to tell you, so I sent the money myself. That makes me a pretty good wife to your parents, huh? I didn't know anything about that. Well, maybe things worked out then. After saying that, I hung up the phone. But a few days later, I got a call from David saying things were tough. We had to move into my wife's family home, and now her parents are moving in too. Oh, that's good. It's much easier than sending them money. Yeah, but when we moved in, I found out her family's home is really run down, just like you said. What about her apartment? She said she gave it up. It was a waste of money to rent it. Better to live at the family home. Nice try. She wasn't living in any apartment. Really. But every time I dropped her off, it was right in front of an apartment complex. She never went inside the apartment, did she? Well, no. She always saw me off. Haha, clever. So, was her family home renovated? No, far from it. It's small and dirty. My parents say they can't live in a place like that. So I told her if she has a problem with it, she can leave. But then she said, after everything they've done for me, I should pay back all the money they spent on me. Enticle. Now I'm living there listening to my parents' complaints. They do nothing and don't work, and my wife complains about them. Well, even after retirement, many people still work. If they're able to, that's what happens. And to top it off, there are 3 kids. That's what I said. 3 kids without any trouble. Congratulations. What's there to congratulate? The kids are calling me their new dad. How many dads have they had? And they're patting her belly, asking when the baby's coming. So everything you said was true. I told you it was true. I never thought it was true. I thought you were just jealous. Oh, really? And now with a sick mother and 3 kids, plus my parents, it's like a big noisy family. Sounds lively and nice. I asked my wife if she's pregnant. She said yes. I asked whose child it is, and she said it's hers. Of course it is. No, it's not. When I said it must be another man's, she said she doesn't know. It doesn't matter whose child it is. The fact that it's her child is all that matters, and that's enough. Wow, that's cool. It's not funny. Being the father of a child whose father I don't even know. I can't stand it. I said we should divorce, but she refuses to. What am I supposed to do now? Well, you reap what you sow. It's not a laughing matter. With the family suddenly growing this much, I can't afford it with my income. You chose her, so you have to deal with it. That's true, but my parents are blaming me for betraying you. Sarah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I think so too. But she always looks so neat and tidy. I thought she was a decent person. Oh, by the way, what about her debt? Ah, I heard about that too. You're right, it's $800,000. Now it looks like I have to pay it back. Figures it would come to that. Yeah, when I asked my wife why it had to be me, she said, I'm pregnant. We have a child, and I have to take care of my mother. With all that, how can you expect me to work? She said it with a face like a demon. To top it off, she said she married me because she thought I was someone who could take on all this. Can you believe such nonsense? That's pretty calculated. Yeah, it feels like I've been trapped, caught in a spider's web. But you walked into it willingly, so there's not much you can do about it. Your brother, was he in prison? He really was in prison for embezzling $1.6 million. My wife says I should pay that back too. After all, he's in prison, so the family should help each other out. She says, but why won't she work herself? Because she's pregnant. You seem to be enjoying this. How would this not be fun? I'm watching you get boiled in hell's cauldron. Were you always this spiteful? I became this way thanks to you. Thanks a lot. That's harsh. But I still have a hell card to give you. What's a hell card? If I hand you this card, you can warp from the 3rd district of hell to the 1st. Or is it the other way around? Anyway, you're in for more suffering. You really want to push me further into hell. Of course. You said we were separated, but stayed connected to your mistress. After being betrayed so much, how could I laugh it off and forgive? Don't underestimate women. Please stop. I can't do that. So, what's this card about? You'll find out soon enough. Keep an eye on mail box. But true to her word, a few days later, a frantic David came to my house. I opened the door, but didn't let him inside and decided to listen to him. Hey, what is this? Did the hell card arrive? What hell? Why are you sending me this bill now? He was holding a letter from a law firm. I didn't need to hear it to know it was a demand for alimony. Why? Because the reason for our divorce is all on you. David, plus, there's a video proof of him proposing to your mistress, so it's only natural that you get billed, right? When now? 'Cause now's the best time. You're in the spotlight with your huge debt. Your family's growing and you're suffering, right? Yeah, I'm suffering. Adding alimony to that mix, doesn't that just make the suffering the worst? Yeah, I'm suffering. I wanted to give you that suffering. You're a demon. You made me into this. David, pay it all at once. You're kidding. I don't have that kind of money. Next, then borrow it. Your brother embezzled $1.6 million. Your wife $800,000. And this alimony? It's just a drop in the bucket. It's like adding a single drop of water to a burnt pan. I'm ruined. Yes, you underestimated me. Come on, forgive me. Please, let's pretend this never happened. I won't. That's a joke. Please. Don't make me suffer anymore. You brought this on yourself. Why do you enjoy making me suffer so much? It's fun. I'm putting the guy who dropped me into hell himself. Is there anything more enjoyable? Have you ever imagined how I felt watching my husband propose to another woman right in front of me? You haven't, right? That's hell. So, I decided to put you in hell. This is just how it has to be. Everything is your own doing. Hang in there, Dad. Please, David just sat down right there, crying and begging for forgiveness. But of course, I had no intention of forgiving him. Watching David suffer was deeply satisfying for me. Afterwards, David did work desperately, but a daytime job was hardly enough. He kept getting complaints from his family. So he had no choice but to increase his income by working part-time at night and on weekends. But no matter how much he worked, it was never enough, and he was constantly blamed. This led to him suffering from depression, finding it hard to interact with people, and going to work while on medication. If only his wife had been kind to him, or if his parents had been kind, maybe things would have been different. However, his family forced him to work, not allowing him to rest, insisting that as the breadwinner, he mustn't stop. Driven to the edge, David eventually couldn't work anymore. He would say he was going to work, but just spend his days blankly sitting in the park. Eventually, his income dropped to zero, and his wife, seeing no use for such a man, kicked out David and his parents. Leaving the house with his parents, it seemed David might find some relief. He rented an apartment seeking peace of mind, but still faced pressure from his parents to work, and nothing really changed. Recently, I heard from his in-laws that David was missing, and they asked if he had come to me. Of course, he hadn't, so I told them that, only to hear a sigh in response. I did see a man who looked like David. Apparently, he had fallen into homelessness, rummaging through trash cans, yet his face seemed somewhat peaceful. As for me, I'm living a life of elegance alone, still traveling all over the country. I spend my days with no worries or anxieties, thoroughly enjoying every moment.